What's up everybody, Krishna here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing a set of battles featuring the double water team in Premier Cup. Now this has been my go-to team and I've had a lot of success with it in recent times. It's basically a fairly meta line consisting of Gyarados, Metagross and Swampert. Now I was running the same team comp with Dragonite on the lead, but I've switched it from Dragonite to Gyarados and that's been working even better for me. That's because Gyarados pretty much provides the same coverage as Dragonite does with a little added flexibility. Because most importantly, it wins that Metagross matchup, right? Because it resists the steel moves and can also hit back super effective with Crunch. And also it only takes neutral damage from Togekiss' charms. And apart from that, it also has access to Hydro Pump, which can pretty much do some heavy neutral damage against most of what you're going to see in the meta. Which is why I think it's been working even better than Dragonite in Premier Cup. And Metagross, we all know, is arguably the best pick in Premier Cup, and Swampert, as always, is my MVP. So this is actually one of the most successful set of battles I've done in Premier Cup this season. Some really exciting ones in there. So if you're new to this channel and interested in PvP related content, please hit that subscribe button and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Gyarados and then having Metagross and Swampert in the back. Metagross is best buddied. And also I'm going to be running Dragon Breath on Gyarados just to provide that coverage against Dragonite. So we are met with the Dragonite here. This is a pretty neutral matchup because Dragonite is going to take super effective damage from these Dragon Breaths. But Dragonite's Dragon Breaths are also going to add up onto Gyarados because it has stab coming from a Dragonite and also Dragonite has a pretty high attack stat. So just gonna let it go through. I'm actually hoping for a shield advantage here. That's what I'm aiming for. Gonna build up to an to an outrage and then throw the crunch. Really hoping to bait out a shield so that I can just come in with Metagross and completely bullet punch farm this Dragonite down. I'm just gonna try and do as much damage as possible because I can just come in with Metagross and then soak up the charge move. They do have quite a bit of energy right now, but they don't really have enough energy for a Hurricane, which is why this is probably just going to be a Dragon Claw here, which is going to be resisted because of the steel typing. And I'm just going to commit to the complete bullet punch farm down now. We might have to eat another charge move, which is absolutely fine. It's definitely going to add up. It's going to put my Metagross into the yellow. But we're going to come out of this matchup with a lot of energy, right? And Metagross with loaded energy can be extremely dangerous. But they have a Gyarados in the back. This is really tricky. And also it's a waterfall Gyarados as well. So this is really tricky. I mean, I'm assuming at this point, this is probably the... they have a Metagross in the back. I mean, Caleb Peng basically made a video about this team a couple of days ago, consisting of Dragonite, Gyarados, and then Metagross in the back. This is a very solid team comp, having great coverage against a lot of the meta. Luckily, they decided to let both the Meteor Mashes go through. That is huge because if they had shielded even one of those, my Swampert would have really struggled in the back to get rid of this Metagross, right? Because these Mud Shots are literally doing nothing. And like I mentioned, they have a Metagross in the back. So this is perfect. We managed to line it up perfectly because Swampert would have really struggled against both the Dragonite and Gyarados. But luckily, we managed to line up Swampert against Metagross. And this is perfect. So just going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. They don't give up the shield. They're definitely going to shield this up because it would probably take them out from this range. So I mean, it's pretty much GG's at this point because we have a shield and there's not a lot they can do. And I'm just going to shield this up because just in case it's an Earthquake, I don't really want to risk it. Luckily, it's an Earthquake. It's GG's at this point because there's no way they can get to another charge move. And they decided to give up the match there. So I had to shield. Even if it was a Meteor Mash bait, it was worth shielding it because there's no way they could have gotten to another Earthquake to basically get rid of Swampert. So that was pretty much GG's. So that team comp is actually pretty difficult to deal with. But I guess when you line it up correctly, you can pretty much do it as well. We are moving into the second battle here. We have Gyarados into Metagross. Very positive matchup. This is exactly why you want to have Gyarados instead of Dragonite in this team comp because Gyarados beats Metagross as well. And they make a switch into Machamp. Now Machamp can be slightly tricky for this team because it basically beats all three of my Pokemon in one way or another. I was trying to switch to Metagross to catch the Rock Slide here. Unfortunately, it ends up being a Cross Chop, which they're probably trying to bait out a shield. And they're obviously going to get off another Cross Chop here. This is again going to start adding up, doing neutral damage to Metagross because of the Steel Psychic typing. And definitely going to start adding up here. And I'm just going to go straight for the Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash should do heavy neutral damage to Machamp and force a shield or take it out here. Let's see what they decide to do. They decide to give up a shield. So at this point, they can probably commit to the complete counter farm down. But they decide to throw a charge move. They could have actually thrown, they could have committed to the complete farm down. They probably were worried that I would get to a Meteor Mash, which is good. So they don't have any more, they don't have loaded energy. So I'm just going to come in with Gyarados and just overfarm a little bit and then throw the Crunch here. Now, even though Crunch is resisted, it should definitely take out Machamp from this range. And let's see what they have in the back. We have lost switch advantage, but we have the shield advantage, and they have a Dragonite. This is perfect. I'm glad they brought in Dragonite here, because again, like I said, Swampert in the back would have really struggled against it. Because I'm not running Sludge Wave on Swampert, which means that it's going to get completely walled by both Gyarados and Dragonite, right? So I have to depend on my Gyarados to get rid of this Dragonite, which is why I'm going to shield this up and just do as much damage as possible with Dragon Breath. Hopefully, yeah. They are into the red first, so I'm going to be able to commit to the complete Dragon Breath farm down and have a Crunch ready to go. And they have a Metagross in the back. So many people like to have Metagross in the back, which is why having Swampert in the back works so well. So just going to throw the Crunch here. It gets the shield. This is perfect. We have a shield advantage. And then Swampert against Metagross. This is pretty much GG's at this point. So I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake here. And this is going to do super effective damage and pretty much one-shot the Metagross. So again, it's just the Premier Cup meta is just fairly predictable because so many people like to have Metagross in the back. And then this team has basically double Metagross counters. It can counter Metagross in the lead and then Metagross in the back as well, which is why it's a very solid team comp. So moving into the third battle here. Swampert is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I know I've mentioned it like multiple times over and over again, but it's just so reliable, especially in closing out games, irrespective of which league you're playing, right? Met with another Metagross here. Again, very positive lead for Gyarados. It would be even better if we had Waterfall, but even Dragon Breath variant definitely beats a Metagross. So just overfarming a little bit, worried about a potential switch out, but we lag a little bit and they're able to get to a charge move first. So this is going to be a Meteor Mash here. It's going to be resisted. I'm expecting them to switch out here, which they do, into Garchomp. This is perfect. So Garchomp is going to really struggle against Gyarados. This is just going to be a Sand Tomb. It was way too soon to be anything else, which is why I'm going to let it go through. It's going to be double resisted, but it's going to lower Gyarados' attack. This is such a positive matchup because those Mud Shots are double resisted, right? While Dragon Breath is doing super effective damage. And I'm going to pressure some shields with Crunch right here. I'm going to be able to get off the second Crunch. This should do some nice neutral damage to Garchomp if it goes unshielded. And even though we are debuffed, those Mud Shots are double resisted and they're still not going to do that much, right? So I'm just going to commit to the complete Dragon Breath farm down here. They are going to get off another charge move. And I'm just going to risk it. I'm just not going to shield here. I'm fine even losing switch advantage. But it's another Sand Tomb bait. This is beautiful. We don't even give up a shield. And this is perfect. Let's see what they decide to bring in. They bring in Togekiss here. And Gyarados immediately goes down. This is fine. This is perfect. Now we have Togekiss lined up against our Metagross. And then Swampert against their Metagross. This is GG's at this point. So there's nothing they can do here. We have a shield advantage as well. And Swampert is absolutely going to destroy this Metagross here. Absolutely going to shield this up. I don't really want to risk getting hit by an Earthquake. And because they still have a shield, I'm just going to go straight Hydro Cannons here. It's going to take a couple of Hydro Cannons to get rid of Metagross. Actually, if they don't shield, I'm just going to commit to the complete Mud Shot farm down here. And they don't shield. So I'm probably going to just commit to the complete... No, I'm actually going to throw the second Hydro Cannon here because I want to do so before they're able to get to a charge move. Let's see what happens here. They give up a shield this time. So this is really surprising because I would imagine they would want to preserve a shield for their Togekiss. But another charge move coming through, I'm going to let it go through at this point because I want to save a shield for my Metagross for a potential flamethrower coming from the Togekiss. And I'm just going to commit to the complete Mud Shot farm down here and then go for the Hydro Cannon immediately. This is going to do some nice neutral damage to Togekiss and definitely chip it away. But it's pretty much GG's at this point because we have a shield advantage and Metagross is absolutely going to destroy this Togekiss here. And just going to go straight for the Meteor Mash and that's going to be a GG. So like you can see, pretty convincing win so far. We were pretty much, especially for the second half of the game, we were pretty much in control for the most part. So, and the fact that they didn't have an answer to Gyarados really helped. They actually switched their Garchomp to Gyarados, and Garchomp, to be honest, has a pretty poor matchup against Gyarados. So it has, in fact, an even worse matchup against Gyarados than Dragonite because it can at least one-shot a Dragonite with Outrage, Whereas you can't one-shot a Gyarados with Outrage. You basically need to get off 2 charge moves, right? So moving into the next battle here, we have Gyarados into Magnezone. Now it's getting tricky. Magnezone is a really tricky Pokemon to deal with. So I'm just going to switch into Metagross here. And they make a switch into Swampert. So this is tricky, right? We're getting hard countered here. And I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake, but they're able to get to a charge move first. I'm just going to risk it. And I'm hoping this is just a Hydro Cannon. It's a Hydro Cannon. This is perfect. And I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake here because I want to either win Switch Advantage or Shield Advantage. I want either one of those, at least out of this matchup. And they let that Earthquake go through. That is huge. This is huge at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shield right now because now there's a possibility for me to win Switch Advantage. And I'm going to shield and commit to the complete Bullet Punch farm down here. Even though Bullet Punch is resisted, I'm going to be able to do it here. But unfortunately, we're going to have to eat another charge move. I'm going to shield this up again. We are down 2 shields at this point, which is not ideal. But we're going to come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy. Let's see what we can do here. They're going to come in with Metagross. This is perfect. This is beautiful. So I'm just going to go straight for the Meteor Mash, really trying to bait out a shield here. Swampert does well against both Metagross and Magnezone. And because we have switch advantage, Gyarados does pretty well against Metagross as well. So they are farming up for quite a bit. So I'm just going to go straight for the next Meteor Mash here. I'm really hoping to get their final shield. If they think this is an Earthquake, we get the final shield. This is perfect. We are on even shields right now. And also we have switch advantage, so this is pretty much going to be GG's. But I'm going to have to worry about them potentially switching out and throwing the Wild Charge, which is why I'm immediately going to switch into Swampert to catch the Wild Charge. I knew they had loaded energy and they would try to instantly delete my Gyarados, Gyarados being double weak to Electric because of the Water Flying typing. And I'm trying to get to this Hydro Cannon before the charge move comes through. Unfortunately, Magnezone wins CMP. So I could have actually overfarmed a little bit, but this ends up being just a mirror shot. But because I clicked the charge move, it's going to send it through anyway. So I'm just going to, throw the Hydro Cannon. This is pretty much going to finish off the Magnezone. And now Metagross is going to have to throw, right? They can't really overfarm here. They're going to have to basically get their charge move off. This is going to be Meteor Mash, which is going to come close to taking Swampert out. And pretty much takes it out. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm us with a couple of Bullet Punches. But we still have Gyarados in the back. But it's still not that straightforward, right? Because they still have a lot of loaded energy and pretty much... I think 2 Meteor Mashes from this range should get rid of Gyarados. So, yeah. Just going to throw the Crunch here. Crunch is going to do super effective damage against Metagross, but it's still not going to take it out. And those Dragon Breaths are resisted. So, it's going to be a race to the charge move here. And can they get to a charge move in time? Or will Dragon Breath win? Yeah, Dragon Breath is just so oppressive and we're able to take the win there. So pretty close matchup. I probably thought I would lose that at some point. But that's basically how you play out Magnezone leads, right? We got hard countered. But the fact that they didn't shield the Earthquake on Swampert pretty much flipped the matchup. Because even though we had a 2 shield disadvantage, I was able to get both those shields back by baiting with Meteor Mash. And then I was able to line up the counters perfectly. So moving into the final battle here, we are 4-0 right now. Let's see if we can make it a perfect set. We have Gyarados into Dragonite. Again, pretty neutral matchup. This is because we do have Dragon Breath, which is going to hit for super effective. And pretty much the same game plan here. I'm just going to let it go through. I'm targeting a shield advantage because I can come in with Metagross and farm for quite a bit of energy. And again, just going to overfarm a little bit and trying to fake an Outrage and then throw the Crunch. In fact, even Crunch would probably do enough damage at this point. So they are going to be inclined to shield, which they do. And they're going to commit to the complete Dragon Breath farm down here. And they're going to have a lot of loaded energy. But they have very little health, right? A couple of Bullet Punches from Metagross should pretty much seal the deal. I'm going to let it go through. Like I said, everything is going to be resisted. Even if it's a Hurricane or an Outrage, I'm not worried about it. It's only a Dragon Claw, which is fine. And I'm going to be able to Bullet Punch down before they're able to get to another charge move, which is crucial. And they have even they have Swampert in the back. So this is, again, not a great situation. But we do have the shield advantage, so this is not terrible either. And I'm just going to go straight for the Meteor Mash here. Even though this is resisted, it would do quite a bit of damage to Swampert, as it does there. And I'm not going to shield this. I'm going to save 2 shields for Swampert to basically take out their Swampert and whatever is in the back. And it's only a Hydro Cannon, so basically they're going to have to get off another charge move to get rid of Metagross here. Another charge move coming through. It's going to be another Hydro Cannon. I'm going to let it go through. Absolutely fine, because we still have Swampert in the back, which can pretty much deal with a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm going to come in with Swampert. I'm going to probably lose CMP because my Swampert is obviously not 15 attack. So just gonna shield this up because I want to preserve the health on my Swampert as much as possible. And Hydro Cannon coming through. Let's see what they decide to do. They make a switch into Metagross. This is perfect. Like I said, so many people like to have Metagross in the back. And I'm just gonna go straight Hydro Cannons here. Probably could have gone straight for the Earthquake because I don't think they're going to shield at this point. They're probably going to save their shield for Swampert as well, which is very smart play on their part. So just going to throw the second Hydro Cannon here. This should pretty much get the Metagross incredibly low and put it in Mud Shot farm down range. This is critical, right? Because I want to come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy in order to beat their Swampert because they have a shield advantage. I'm going to shield this up. Unfortunately, it could be an Earthquake, which is why I have to give up a shield here. It's only a Meteor Mash, which is absolutely fine. But I'm going to have to commit to the Mud Shot farm down and basically have 2 charge moves ready to go. So their Swampert is going to come in and I'm going to, at this point we have back-to-back Hydro Cannons here. Their only win condition is basically going to get off an Earthquake, right? Because my Swampert is probably just in Earthquake range. So Hydro Cannon gets the shield, but luckily we're able to get to the second Hydro Cannon here. They were probably just about 1 or 2 Mud Shots away from an Earthquake, so that was actually pretty close. And if they had gotten that Earthquake off, that would have taken out my Swampert, but luckily we're able to take the win, and that, I believe that's the 5th game, and that's that's a 5-0. That's a 5-0. So 5-0 hype. It's not very often you go 5-0, but this team comp, there's a very good chance that you do. So like you can see, it's a pretty solid team comp. And if you're actually struggling in Premier Cup and trying to figure out a team composition, I would highly recommend this team comp. Like I said, Swampert is absolutely amazing towards endgame, and any solid team comp that has Swampert in it, I would always sort of recommend that. And Gyarados again has been a fantastic addition to this team comp in place of Dragonite because like I said, it's a fantastic generalist. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button as well. And I'll see you guys next time.